Hey, it's Medium Jenny Lee, and I'm here to start discussing the next Raw Contact Teaching of the Law of One, Volume 2. So if you are not familiar with my first go-around of Volume 1, let's have a little recap. All things, all life, all of the creation is part of one original thought. One original thought. Not an original energy, not an original creator, not an original source of energy, whatever. An original thought. So the third density is basically what we think of as life on Earth. A physical body with a mind and a soul, and realizing that you have a soul, and you either decide to be of service to yourself or service to others. And the second one, it was to meditate so they could release their thoughts and reach a higher, deeper level of meditation. And that is so weird because in the book discussion number 4, when I go through sessions 2 and 3, there's a part in there where Ra's telling Dawn about what the purpose of the Great Pyramid is, and it was a sensory deprivation chamber so that people could release their thoughts and forget about their physical body so that they could reach a new awakening, they would feel like their body was dead and they would feel just their spirit. Can you define the word balancing? Picture, if you will, the one infinite. You have no picture. Thanks, Ra. So what do they say? What is he saying? What is Ra saying here? So it all started with a medium reading that took place on Twitch. The energy just feels very different, and I'm not sure what that means yet, because I kind of feel like I'm experiencing something different for the first time. What I'm sensing is that this spirit is of a higher dimension, and that's why it feels so weird. Like it's really kind of jittery and jumpy and like at a higher frequency than what I'm used to. A very high energy, different kind of energy, high frequency entity came through, and I wasn't really sure what was happening. It was kind of the start of some of the different things happening during the reading streams, and lo and behold, the entity says its name is Ra. This being does not seem male or female. It's possible that this is an alien energy. He said his name was Ra, like R-A, like the Egyptian god, which I'm thinking Egyptian god, and I'm like, what is happening here? Not that long after that, the same person comes back and the entity comes through for them a second time, but I'm not picking up on a gender. This feels more like I'm getting like a broadcast. Like they're sending, like somebody's sending me information. And then I heard Ra again, which is what we heard the first time. And somewhere in there, comes into my knowledge, probably through someone else. At this point, I can't remember how it came about, but it came to my awareness that there was this collection of channeled material from the 80s from an entity called Ra. And so I purchased the first book, Volume 1, and I started reading it. And as soon as I started reading it, I decided immediately that I needed to start making videos discussing the sessions, which the channeling sessions that were laid out in the book. And then I didn't stop until I finished the whole volume 1. So there are 57 Raw Contact Volume 1 videos, one for each session in the book, plus an introduction video, much like the one I'm doing right now for Volume 2. And those are not that well done. They were just me trying to get through the book and understand what it was saying and relay the information to whoever wanted to listen to it. And I just recorded it on my phone because I didn't want to have to edit anything. I just wanted to be able to record it quickly and upload it. And there are a few that I did end up having to edit for different reasons, but for the most part, I recorded them on my phone. And as soon as I was done recording it, I uploaded it to YouTube. And really, there wasn't a whole lot done with them. They are what they are. They're exactly how they came out, with the exception of a few things being edited out, like being interrupted by small children or big children. That's what they are. I don't really plan on going back and redoing them to make them more YouTube friendly, as in like making them look fantastic and giving them thumbnails and all this stuff. But I do plan on doing these a little bit different. I do want to record them a little bit slower. I want to make sure that they look nice. I will make some nice thumbnails for these. And so a little bit higher quality video for the round 2. If you watched any of or all of the first set of videos, or if you've read that book or this book or both of the books yourself, you know what's up, you know what's going on. But for those of you that are new to this content, new to this information, let's just discuss what's going on here. So in the 80s, very like 1980, 1981, there's a group of 3 people, Don Elkins, Carla Ruckert, and Jim McCarty, and they had been interested in meditation and UFOs and telepathy and things like this. And it turns out that Carla was a channeler. So they start experimenting with Carla being a channeler, and then this entity Ra comes through, and they start asking Ra questions about themselves, about UFOs, about Bigfoot, about the universe, about our chakras, about life, about death, about everything. And the collection of transcribed information from those sessions is in these volumes. So they originally came out in edited, kind of hand-picked 4 smaller volumes, but then they were re-listened to and they were put together without taking out any of the information or any of the sessions. And that's what these are. These are the newer re-listening reports of those sessions that took place in 1980 and 1981. Now, who is Ra and what are they and what is it all about? When most people hear Ra, they if they know anything about Egyptian mythology, they immediately say, "Oh, that's the Egyptian god." This Ra is yes and no to the Egyptian god. They were present in Egypt when around the time that we think, we're thinking that this mythology is starting to gather and begin, but they are not what is presented as the Egyptian god. They say, and remember this is all channeled information, You can believe it, you cannot believe it. A lot of people think that it's BS or that it's just, whatever. But they say that they are a collective consciousness of 6-dimensional, 6-density, they call them densities instead of dimensions, 6-density entities that used to live on the planet Venus. It sounds like they were humanoid, but they were taller and thinner, and they had gold skin. And then during the Egyptian times, they decided to come to Earth to try to help us. And they are involved with the pyramids. You can read the first book, you can watch the videos, or, if you want to know more. This is just a very basic recap here. But they felt like they messed it up because the information they were trying to share with humans, of course, humans took it and they made it their own, and they used it for not so good things instead of trying to unite everyone under this idea that there's one source of energy, that there's one God. It got turned around and flipped into the Pharaoh being the God, and the Pharaoh being the one that has all the power, instead of everyone having equal power under this idea that we're all the same frickin' thing. So no one should have power over anybody else. But, humans got to screw stuff up. So they say that they've been still present to us and for us, but they haven't actually come to Earth in a physical form anymore since then, because they feel like they have to try to fix what was wronged. And that's why they come through in these channelings for Dawn and Carla and Jim. And that's why they decided to put them together into some books, because the information is really interesting. And the reason why I decided to dive into this more than just a casual read through is because so many of the answers that Ra gives to Dawn's questions are things that I already felt, that I was wondering about myself, that made sense to me. Not everything, not all of it makes sense to me. Not all of it do I completely get behind, but so much of it I do. And I feel it, you feel it. When you know something is right, you feel it in your body. And there's been more things in the first volume than not that I felt was right and true. So that's why it's been so important to me to continue with this, and I'm excited to start doing these videos for volume 2. Ra has continued to come through for us, even though the person that we started with for these readings was like, no thank you, this is too weird. And that's fine, because it turns out that it was an eye-opener for very, very many people, and for me included, and people that have gotten into these videos and through my Twitch stream. So we've just continued with it on our own, and the raw energy, the raw entity has continued to come through to the point that I feel like I can connect with it when I ask. So actually, when I'm recording this, which is January 25th of 2024, I'm actually getting ready to have an event in February. Is actually a month from today, on February 25th. I'm going to be doing a channeled event through Eventbrite. It's going to be me channeling Ra, and you get to come ask questions yourself, which I know a lot of people in my Team Weird community have been collecting questions for a long time to be able to ask questions of Ra. So that's where we are currently at with this information, and I plan on reading every single session of this book in video form and doing exactly like I did for the first set, except it's going to be nicer. It's going to be more pleasant to look at. I'm going to try to make it look better, but it's still going to be me reading it and trying to make sense of it and probably making fun of things and just, you know, having my mind blown again. And I hope that if you were here along for the ride for the first set, that you come join me on the second volume. And if you're just finding this information, all I can say is buckle up. Because it's some weird stuff, but somehow so much of it just makes sense. So thank you for watching this Raw Contact Teachings of the Law of One Volume 2 video series introduction. Get your seatbelts on, people. Put your seatbelts on. It's gonna be a weird, bumpy ride on the roller coaster of Raw number 2. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're not familiar with any of this information, you might want to deep dive into the book yourself, or you might want to go back and watch all of my crappily recorded videos for Volume 1. Are you up to the challenge? Please join in on the discussion through these videos. Put comments in. The greatest way for us to learn new information is together, discussing it, trying to make sense of it, and figuring it out. Not just by ourselves, but together. So please make sure you comment, share, all those wonderful things. Thanks for watching. And the first session of Volume 2 will be coming out soon. Bye-bye.